Please note the participants in this video are only actors, and you should always wear all of your personal protective equipment. In the unlikely event of an underground mine emergency, your first decisions and actions may mean the difference between life and death. If escape is possible, don your self-contained self-rescuer and follow proper procedures to exit the mine. If escape is not possible, your best chance of survival is to access a refuge alternative, such as a fresh air bay, to provide isolation from contaminated air. Your mine is using an inflatable fresh air bay in its underground mine operation. This station offers miners a safe, breathable environment when evacuation is not an option. The Strata Fresh Air Bay is a portable, non-electric enclosure that upon proper deployment will provide its occupants breathable air for a minimum of 96 hours. The bays are inflated and filled with fresh air as they are deployed. Medical-grade oxygen cylinders and a carbon dioxide scrubber maintain the fresh breathable air inside the chamber. It consists of 5 main sections. They are the main skid, the oxygen and air system, the oxygen and air control valves for the control of tent inflation, tent purging, scrubber operation, and oxygen control, the inflatable tent, and the carbon dioxide scrubber. Inflation of the unit will take several minutes. Upon proper deployment, the fresh air bay is designed to control and maintain air quality at a level that will sustain life. Air quality control is performed by the use of a carbon dioxide scrubbing system and the injection of oxygen through an adjustable metered control valve. To minimize the risk of carbon monoxide entering the bay, the unit is fitted with a sealable airlock system that can be purged using the cylinder air. Since this is an enclosed bay, it is essential to maintain positive pressure within the unit. Whenever the entry doors are open, the risk of carbon monoxide entering the chamber increases. The airlock inside the main door is fitted with an air purging system that is designed to dilute the carbon monoxide to safe levels before entering the main bay. In an emergency, it is important that those using the fresh air bay are able to deploy the unit, put the oxygen and scrubber systems into operation, and be familiar with the other accessories provided. The steps required are not difficult, as the fresh air bay has been designed with ease of use as a primary consideration. It is important, however, that those that may need to use the fresh air bay in an emergency situation be well familiar with its operation and features. Note the information that follows. It may someday save your life. Step 1. Open the emergency access and maintenance access panels by pulling and turning the T handles. Please note, the handles have seals that will be broken when the handles are pulled. Step 2. Remove the 3 boxes containing the with pump monitor, the without pump monitor, spare batteries, and purge timer from the emergency access panel. Also remove the laminated instructions and strobe light from the emergency access panel and turn on. Open the 3 master control valves for the oxygen, scrubber fan drive, and the purge air systems that are located in the emergency access panel. Step 3. Open the entry door located at the end of the skid to access the tent. Carefully unlock each latch lever, as the door will have pressure on it from the tight seal with the frame. Remove the metal latch pin. Press in and hold the latch lever, then depress the lock button located in the center of the latch lever. Pull the latch handle out. The access door handles will have tamper-proof seals on them that will be broken when the latch levers are opened. Swing the access door to the side, exposing the bay and activation cable for the inflation valve. Remove the fire extinguisher from the inside of the door panel and set aside to take into the fresh air bay once the bay has been deployed. Step 4. Examine the area where the tent is to be deployed and remove any loose materials or debris from the area. At this point, unroll the bay by grasping the yellow pull strap. Walk away from the skid while pulling the pull strap until the tent is completely unrolled. Grasp each side of the end of the bay and pull to make sure it is fully extended. Step 5. Inflate the bay by pulling on the activation cable located inside the tent access door. This cable will come completely out when the inflation valve is activated. Note, due to the rush of air into the tent and the operating pressure of the inflation system, the result is a very loud screeching sound produced while the tent is inflating. Also, be aware that the unit is shipped with the bay's exterior door unzipped approximately 3 inches to prevent overinflation of the airlock. The zipper must remain open during inflation. Prepare to enter the bay. Put the strobe light at the entrance of the bay and remove all tools and unnecessary items that could possibly puncture the bay or take up excess space. Be sure to take your cap light, all self-rescuers, the 2 air monitors, spare batteries, purge timer, the fire extinguisher, and any communication devices in with you. Do not attempt to enter the bay until it is fully inflated and all of the inflation air is depleted. Entering the bay before the inflation is complete will cause a short circuit of the inflation air through the doors, and the bay will not fully inflate. Open the entrance door by unzipping it and enter the airlock compartment with as many people as possible. Please be aware that these zippers are airtight, self-sealing, and may be tight and will be more difficult to open and close than a typical zipper on a coat or duffel bag. Extra effort may be required. To properly open the zipper, first position yourself so you are able to apply a strong pull when opening the zipper. Next, grasp the loop attached to the zipper slider and slowly but firmly pull the slider in line with the direction of the zipper. If the slider stops, reverse direction if necessary, and then resume operating the zipper. It is also helpful to apply some tension to the fabric in the opposite direction the slider is moving in order to remove any waves in the fabric. Occupants should fill the empty space toward the back of the airlock to allow room for others to enter. The person nearest the door leading from the airlock to the main chamber should position themselves so they are facing the zipper, so they are ready to open the door at the appropriate time. Avoid stepping on the zipper if possible during entry into the airlock. Once inside the airlock, keeping the SCSR unit on, remove the without pump air monitor from its case and close the case. Turn the monitor on and check for gas concentration levels with the exterior door open. If the carbon monoxide or CO reading is less than 75 parts per million, the oxygen level is above 19.5%, and the methane is below 1%, close the exterior door by zipping it up, as it is not necessary to purge the airlock. Then unzip the inner door and enter the main chamber, closing the inner door behind you. If the CO level is above 75 parts per million, the oxygen level is below 19.5%, or methane is above 1%, then, with the exterior door still open to keep the airlock from ballooning out, simultaneously start the purge timer and open the purge valve. This will allow compressed air to enter the airlock area to purify the atmosphere inside the airlock. The purge valve is a spring assist close valve and must be held in the on position when using. Using the purge timer, purge the airlock until the timer indicates the cycle is complete. Release the purge valve. It will close automatically. The purge cycle length is determined by the preset purge timer for your refuge alternative. Simultaneously open the purge valve while pressing the button on top of the purge timer to start. The blinking red lights indicate that the purge valve should be opened. When the blinking red lights stop and green blinking lights start, the purge valve should be closed immediately. The timer can then be set to ready position for the next group by pressing the button on top of the timer. Prepare to enter the main chamber. Please note that if the purge timer is accidentally started before the purge valve is opened, simply push the reset button to place the timer back to ready state. The timer is in ready state while being stored in the chamber. To properly close the zipper, it is very important to position yourself to apply a strong force to pull the loops on the slider. Do not try to close the zipper by reaching behind your back or positioning yourself in such a way that you cannot grasp the loops attached to the slider with both hands. Avoid stepping on the zipper if possible during entry into the airlock. Continue to wear your SCSR unit until everyone is in the main chamber and the air is safe to breathe. Do not expect to open or close the zipper quickly. Instead, a slow, steady pull is required to properly close the zipper. To properly close the zipper, it is very important to position yourself to apply a strong force to pull the loops on the slider. Do not try to close the zipper by reaching behind your back or positioning yourself in such a way that you cannot grasp the loops attached to the slider with both hands. Clear any dirt or debris from the zipper before closing. Then, grasping the loops on both the inside and outside of the zipper, you should apply a slow and steady pull in the direction of the zipper. It may also be helpful to grasp the loop on the outside of the zipper and apply tension in the opposite direction to remove waves from the fabric. If the slider stops moving, simply reverse the direction and clear any obstacles, and then resume closing the zipper. When closing the airlock zipper, please make sure that the outer zipper pulls are on the outside of the door and the inner zipper pulls are on the inside of the door, so that the next group entering the airlock will be able to use the pulls to open the zipper. The zipper may be more difficult to close than open due to the compression of the sealing elements. If for any reason you are unable to completely close the zipper or the zipper is damaged during entry, your Strata Fresh Air Bay is equipped with tape located in the duffel bag that can be used to seal any remaining opening. Again, the zipper on the Strata Fresh Air Bay is an air and watertight zipper and is designed to keep you safe from harmful gases that may be present in a mine emergency. It is important to understand the proper operation of this vital feature of your Fresh Air Bay. Next, open the inner door and enter the main bay, taking the with pump monitor and spare batteries with you. Be sure to leave the without pump monitor and purge timer in the airlock. Keep your SCSR units on until everyone is in the main chamber and the air is safe to breathe. If other people are still outside the bay, close the inner doors so they can enter the airlock. Additional groups entering the airlock area must check the carbon monoxide and oxygen levels and repeat the purging procedures as needed before entering the main bay. If for any reason the air monitor is not working properly and the gas levels cannot be accurately read, the default procedure is to purge the airlock using the purge timer. The final group shall bring the without pump air monitor purge timer and case with them when entering the main bay. When everyone is safely inside the bay, keep the airlock inner door open. Check the atmosphere in the main chamber. If the CO level is above 25 ppm, with the door between the main chamber and the airlock open, gradually release any remaining purge air to further dilute the atmosphere in the main chamber. Keep your SCSR unit on until everyone is in the main chamber and the air is safe to breathe. Perform carbon monoxide and methane tests at 2-hour intervals to ensure the integrity of the chamber. SCSR units can be removed at this time. If your SCSR unit is of the type that can be turned off, turn it off and save it for further use if needed. It is very important to activate the carbon dioxide scrubber immediately after the first people enter the bay. Crawl through the access way inside the main bay into the steel skid and remove the carbon dioxide scrubber from its storage compartment and carry it to the middle of the bay. Remove the cover from the top of the scrubber frame by removing the Velcro straps. Lay the cover flat on the floor beside the scrubber. Remove the duffel bag containing the miscellaneous supplies from the scrubber frame. Inside the duffel bag is the scrubber operating instructions and a screwdriver that can be used for opening the scrubber cartridge wrapping. Remove the cover from the recessed area of the scrubber frame, exposing the oxygen flow meter. Mount the oxygen flow meter by pulling the flow meter out from the recessed compartment. Bend the flexible tube on which the flow meter is mounted, using the bullseye level on the meter to make sure the flow meter is vertical and level. Set the oxygen flow rate by turning the black knob located at the top of the flow meter counterclockwise until the center of the floating ball is on the line that corresponds to the number of people in the bay. Bring the soda lime cartridges out of the steel skid by way of the tent access way. Unwrap the packaging from just enough cartridges to cover the scrubber tray slots. Note, You may have to puncture the wrapping on the cartridges before you can tear it off. You can use the screwdriver that is in the duffel bag for this. Place the soda lime cartridges on top of the scrubber tray slots. Be careful not to damage the foam seal located on the scrubber box. The cartridges should be even to the outside of the scrubber box and sitting securely on the seals, and no air openings are present between the cartridges. Let the without pump air monitor run continuously and check the readings every 30 minutes for the first 2 hours. After the first 2 hours, readings should be checked every 2 hours. An alarm on the air monitor will sound if levels outside of the safe range are reached. The initial airflow rate for the number of occupants in the fresh air bay is based on moderate activity. However, live tests using human subjects have shown that the required airflow needed to maintain the proper percentage of oxygen may be significantly less, especially when people are at rest. Do not be alarmed if the final flow rate is as little as 1/2 of the original flow rate. The initial flow will be adequate in the early stages of an emergency when everyone is active and tensions are high. As time goes on, occupants will become less active and require less oxygen. Even less may be needed during periods of sleep. Expect to make significant changes in the flow rate in the first few hours. Again, flow rate as little as 1/2 of the initial setting would not be unusual. If left unchecked, the oxygen level in the bay could increase to an unsafe level. Excessively high oxygen levels can create a dangerous atmosphere in the bay that is capable of accelerating any spark or flame into a flash fire, given a fuel source such as dirty mine clothes or coal dust. It is important that the air quality be monitored continuously to ensure the atmosphere in the bay contains between 19.5% and 22% oxygen. Be sure to take readings at random locations throughout the bay. If the oxygen level rises above 22%, lower the flow rate by turning the knob clockwise until the floating ball indicator lowers. If it drops below 19.5%, raise the flow rate by turning the knob counterclockwise until the ball rises. Changes should be made in small increments with air sampling done periodically between changes. Continue to monitor the atmosphere and make adjustments as needed to maintain the oxygen level between 19.5% and 22%. An important note: the required oxygen flow rate is dependent on the amount of oxygen consumed. The numbers on the flow meter correspond to the amount of oxygen consumed during moderate activity. Keeping the oxygen level between 19.5% and 22% is the important factor, not the number indicated on the flow meter. The flow meter numbers are for reference only. The occupants of the chamber will consume much less oxygen as activity subsides and they enter a resting mode or during sleep. Human testing has demonstrated that oxygen consumption in the chamber will be approximately 1/2 the amount that would be expected during normal activities. Do not be alarmed if the final flow rate is as little as 1/2 of the original flow rate. Do not exceed 23% oxygen level. Excessive oxygen levels can create a dangerous fire hazard. Change the soda lime cartridges at 24-hour intervals. The 24-hour interval is based on the full occupancy rate of the fresh air bay. A chart is located on the scrubber for cartridge change-out intervals with less than full occupancy. A wind-up alarm clock is provided in the duffel bag to assist in monitoring the change-out intervals. Again, let the without pump air monitor run continuously, and after the first 2 hours, check readings at 2-hour intervals. If the carbon dioxide level is above 5,000 parts per million, check that cartridges are properly sealed on the foam gasket and inspect that the air motor is running properly. If the air motor is malfunctioning, it must be replaced. If no problems are found in these checks, then change the soda lime cartridges. The surface color of the soda lime cartridge may change from white to purple. This is an indication that the scrubber is working. This is not an indication that the cartridges need to be changed. In the event of a failure of the fan motor, the scrubber is equipped with a backup motor. The spare motor is stored in the duffel bag. To remove the fan motor, first turn the oxygen supply off, going to the motor by turning the adjustment knob on the oxygen flow meter clockwise until closed. Next, remove the 2 soda lime cartridges from the top of the scrubber that are directly above the fan motor. Remove the silencer foam from around the fan motor if provided. Unscrew the nut on the hose connection at the back of the fan motor and pull the hose connection away from the fan motor. Remove the fan guard from the frame of the scrubber by removing the 4 wing nuts. Loosen the thumb screw at the back of the motor. Pull the motor and fan out of the scrubber housing from the fan guard side. Remove the fan blade from the motor by pulling back on the collar on the fan motor behind the fan and twisting the collar clockwise. Install the blade back in the new motor using the same procedure. Reinstall the motor and fan back into the frame and tighten the thumb screw. Reinstall the fan guard. Reconnect the hose connections on the motor. Reinstall the silencer foam if provided. Return the soda lime cartridges back to the top of the scrubber frame. Open the flow valve and adjust to the number of people in the bay or to the previously used setting as needed to maintain the proper concentration of oxygen in the bay atmosphere. If both motors fail, or for any reason the scrubber should become inoperable, use the screwdriver that is in the duffel bag and remove the screws from the corners of the soda lime cartridges and empty the soda lime cartridges onto the floor of the bay and spread the material around. The soda lime will still absorb the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Be aware that contact with soda lime may cause skin irritation. Minimize personal contact with the soda lime to the extent possible. For example, spread the soda lime in areas not occupied by people, or sit on the empty soda lime cartridges to keep people off the floor. In the event of the failure of the oxygen flow meter, a backup flow meter is provided in the duffel bag. To replace the flow meter, begin by disconnecting the hoses using the quick connect couplings on the back of the meter. Detach the meter from the mounting bracket by removing the 2 wing screws. Make sure that the valve on the replacement oxygen flow meter is closed. Remove the plastic pins from the back of the meter and discard. Attach the meter using the removed wing screws. Then connect the hoses using the quick connect couplings. Level the flow meter using the bullseye level. Open the flow valve and adjust to the number of people in the bay or to the previously used setting as needed to maintain the proper concentration of oxygen in the bay atmosphere. The air monitor is provided with spare batteries located in each of the yellow cases so that the monitor can operate continuously for at least 96 hours. It will provide an audible warning if either the oxygen or gas concentration is out of range. To replace the batteries, use the Torx screwdriver attached to the air monitors to remove the battery cover on the back of the monitors. Replace the batteries and replace the cover. Turn the unit on to resume air monitoring. If the without pump monitor fails, the with pump monitor can be used to monitor the air quality inside the bay. The atmosphere outside of the tent can be tested from within the bay. 2 ports are located above the exterior door. To check outside air quality, connect the 2 hoses provided to the with pump monitor. One hose slips over the intake on the top of the monitor. The other screws onto the exhaust port on the back. Remove the 2 plugs on the ports and insert the 2 hoses. It does not matter which hose is put through either port. Run the monitor for 2 minutes and then note the readings on the display. When done, remove the hoses and immediately replace the plugs and turn off the with pump monitor to conserve batteries. The Strata Fresh Air Bay comes equipped with several extra components: a complete first aid kit and a folding backboard as required by MSHA are located in the metal skid and are accessible through the access way. 2.25 quarts of drinking water per person per day is provided. 2,000 calories of food per person per day is provided. Water and food are stored in the metal skid and are accessible through the access way. Note that each packet of food is enough for one person's daily requirement. A spare scrubber motor is provided. It is stored in the duffel bag that is located in the scrubber frame. There are 7 permissible flashlights provided. They are stored in the duffel bag along with batteries for each. The duffel bag is located in the scrubber frame. There is a waste disposal chute in the airlock area. This disposes waste outside the chamber. The chute is equipped with a tie flap to prevent odor from entering the bay. A portable toilet and waste bags are provided and should be removed from the steel skid through the access way and positioned near the chute. There is a tent patch kit with instructions provided in the event something should puncture the tent. There is a roll of duct tape provided that can also be used for tent repairs if needed. These 2 items are stored in the duffel bag located in the scrubber frame. There is a hand air pump provided in the event that the support tubes of the tent were to leak down. It is stored in the duffel bag. To use the hand pump, remove the cap from the end of the hand pump hose and insert the hose end into the special air fitting that is located in the bottom outside support tube just behind the airlock compartment. Pump the hand pump until the tubes are inflated. Connections for a mine phone are provided on the outside of the steel skid. Refer to your mine's ERP for details on communication procedures at your mine. Remember, when inside the chamber, conservation of equipment and materials is very important. Turn off all cap lights and with pump monitor when not in use. Note, the without pump monitor should run continuously. Once you're inside the fresh air bay, stay inside until you are rescued. When the rescue team arrives, do not attempt to exit the bay until the rescue team says it's safe to do so. Due to scrubber operations and the rise in temperature inside the bay, condensation and water accumulation will be evident inside the bay. This is normal and should not cause alarm. Water can be moved to the waste disposal bag by scooping it up using the empty water containers or by mopping it up with any available material, a shirt for example. You can also use the scrubber covers as a squeegee to collect water into pools. Remember, using a fresh air bay is a last resort. In the event of an emergency, every effort should first be made to exit the mine. However, the Strata inflatable fresh air bay has many unique features designed to protect you when you need it. For more information, please talk with your supervisor or visit our website at www.strataworldwide.com.